Big idea number 11. Blame the victim is alive and well in the American vaccine program. If you or your child is injured, there is no justice. Bob Krakow will describe what happens if you seek financial compensation for the incredibly expensive therapy, education, and treatments related to vaccine injury. Bob is an attorney in private practice in New York State, focusing on the trial of civil and criminal cases, specializing in the representation of persons injured by exposure to environmental toxins and vaccines, as well as legal services to individuals with disabilities. Bob has built, founded, or participated in many of the movement's key efforts and organizations, but many of you will not even know his name. Responding to public health exhortations, millions of parents dutifully line up their children to receive 69 doses of 16 vaccines by age 18. These parents vaccinated their children as they were told. Bob will explain the recourse available to parents after their children are injured by vaccines. In the battle against infectious disease, your children are collateral damage. Give it up for Bob Krakow.
Thank you, Louise. Thank you, Louise, Mary, everyone who put this together. Apropos of the occasion, my friend Lou Conti, and I'm a child of the 60s, felt it would be appropriate to do the country Joe and the Fish cheer. Now I'm going to get Louise a little upset. That's a little off script, but it starts, if you're at Woodstock, give me an F, and we won't go further, okay? But I think you, and that is a message for the CDC, okay? A little over 8 years ago, my boy got a flu shot, and then he stopped talking. Now, in the 1980s, I was a narcotics prosecutor. I was bureau chief of the Narcotics Bureau in Manhattan. Well, today, standing here, I realize that for that decade of my life, I think I was prosecuting the wrong drug dealers. When my family experienced this, well, I'd been a lawyer for more than 2 decades, so my job was go get justice, right? Well, what a long, strange trip it has been. First thing, and any parents, most of you are parents out there, you'll know, they'll deny your reality. They'll deny your word. They'll say you're lying. They'll say you made it up. They'll say you're mistaken. They'll say, well, they're very well educated, so they know how to play the system. They're seeking a diagnosis. That's what they're about. They're trying to game the system. That's what you'll hear. And then you'll have the full authority with all their money for expert witnesses thrown against you, and their defense will be, it's genetic, it's genetic, it's genetic. Well, we're all here, and we all have the same genes. They don't find any genetic basis for any of this, but that's what you'll find. You'll find obstruction from the Department of Justice. You'll find resistance. You'll find scorn. Any parent, and one I'm thinking of who has a hearing on appeal on June 10th, and we're going to show up in Washington, D.C., Teresa Cedillo, and she stood up for us. Any parent who's gone through this system, win or lose, knows what you're up against. The line that I want to leave with you about our children, and it follows from Captain Richard Rivet talking about the armed forces, is this is what they termed our children when they established the National Vaccine Compensation Injury Act. Injured in the line of duty. Our children are injured in the line of duty. That means our children were conscripted. They were drafted to fight a war that wasn't tested, with no research, an experiment. They are all guinea pigs. Injured in the line of duty. So my son and your children, when they were conscripted in that war, we didn't know that that's what they were being asked to do. And then we have to bear the consequences. And when we seek justice, no matter how well trained we are in doing that, we meet resistance, we meet obstruction. Our government is not owning up to their responsibility to meet the needs of those who are injured in the line of duty. So I want to thank Louise and Mary and all the volunteers and everyone here, because we're all joining together. A few years ago, I coined a phrase for an organization that still exists called ACHAMP. We're advocates. We are everywhere and we are not going away. And today is a step in that direction. We are everywhere. We're not going away. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob.